All right, hello once again, everybody. This is Bob Turner coming at you live with a Summit podcast. I got a couple of great guests today. We're on a tear. We've been doing a lot more of it, and I had kind of just I won't say lost focus, but kind of paused this a little bit while we kind of got things going with Steve Rosenberg and just kind of world domination in that direction. And it occurred to me that, geez, I haven't done a podcast in a while, and I really enjoy it. So I reached out to a lot of our clients and friends and family and people that I thought might join me and stumbled across the Bunkers. So Mark and Michelle Bunker from Bunker Building and Remodeling, I want to welcome you to the Summit podcast. Thanks for coming.
Our pleasure.
Yeah, it's good to have you guys here. I think back to when I was like, when did I first meet these guys? And it was Mark first. And my first interaction or exposure to Mark was him being called up on stage at the contractor fight event and given a Through the Storm award, I think it was, maybe at the time. And Michelle, you weren't well, and he was there, and I'll tell you what, that whole room was thinking of you and supporting you guys and feeling for you that day. And so got to know Mark after that, and then subsequently you, and learned that you guys end up working together in the business. So we'll talk about that a little bit today. But I just want to kind of get going. Mark, for you first, take us back to the early days. Like, how did Bunker Building and Remodeling get going? And maybe like so many other guys, it was you wearing a tool belt and then kind of moving through things. Walk us down the road of how you got where you're at.
Yeah, if I was to be brutally honest, and I will, I never chose to be in a business.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of proposed to me that way. I loved being a foreman on a construction crew. It was great. He ended up crying about how much workers' comp cost and made us all subcontractors. So now I wasn't collecting 2 weeks in the winter, and one thing led to another. I started, the snowball started small and it started rolling and rolling, and then branched out on my own. It was nothing planned; it just kind of happened. If you would,
out of necessity, right? Because that's probably at a time when you had kids at home and trying
to had a baby. Like he went into business. I mean, we literally got the LLC and got everything done. It was like poof. Then we had a baby, and I'm looking at him. Like, well, you better drum up some work, buddy. I don't know what to say,
It's time to go.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, Mark, like, and I know I felt this way too. Like if you're a craftsman and you're doing your thing, you didn't necessarily sign up to be good at QuickBooks or learning about marketing and SEO and all the stuff, right? Sometimes it's just better and I know your happy place is still right out in the shop, isn't it?
God, yeah. If I could spend all my time there, and that's where I kind of unplug my brain. Now it's 24/7, basically where I'm sitting now. And anytime I sneak out there and do a little repair, get a little project around the house, boy, I'm smiling. My head is clear. I'm not thinking about numbers and calls, and life is good. Smoke a cigar, put the exhaust fan on. Life is good.
Yeah. Well, Michelle, like, when did the conversation happen that it was not just Mark's business anymore? Like and you got brought in and
I got brought in kind of from a weird angle. I was out on a medical leave. I was actually working for Dana-Farber.
Okay.
Up here in the Merrimack Valley. And I was on a medical leave, and I was home, and I was feeling pretty good. And I said, "You have anything I can do?" And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not stupid. I'm a pretty smart woman. I could do a lot of things. Mm-hmm. So I started doing this, started doing that, started doing this. And he's like, "Can you do that?" I'm looking at him like, "Yeah." So then I got going. I was like, and then I had stuff, and I said, "Oh, I think I need an office." And I said, I'll put a desk in the front room. You stay in the shop. And I thought, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
And then the day came where I was going back to work, and it was that weekend, and he was real quiet, and he said, "I don't know what to say, but I can't do this, just me." And I said, "Well, what does that mean?" He goes, "I really need you here." And I thought, yeah, but I get the health insurance.
Right. Yeah. Big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are. 6 years later, I've taken a much larger role, doing a lot more, trying to help him as much as I can without killing him, because orange is not a good color on me. So I figure I have to keep him alive for a while.
Well, we've had a lot of discussions. Some of my most spirited coaching calls
Here
have
we
been
go. Here we go.
with you guys
Bring
because
it
it kind
on.
of started out with Mark, then brought you in. You ended up, I don't know,
Yeah.
you ended up sliding a chair over at some point, and
Yeah.
it became the three of us, and it's been a fun ride, and I grown to know and love you guys and feel like family, and for
Yeah.
that I'm grateful. But let's stay on the working together thing for just a minute more, Mark, if we might make you a little more uncomfortable as we go. But you know, a lot of couples, I think working together is just going to solve a lot of problems, right? Take care of everything, right? And then reality hits. And so, like, what was that for you guys? Like, what surprised you most once you were both fully in the business?
I think learning our lanes, and I think right out from the beginning, fortunately and unfortunately, it's a double-edged sword that we're empty nesters, and the big living room is our control central with couple of big executive desks, and this is where it all happens. So we never really leave work,
Right.
if that makes sense. And it was something I stress and I work on daily is when we go back into the family room, we unplug, we sit in a love seat. We've always sat side by side in a love seat ever since we've been married. That's just the thing we do. It was when we're in this office that we're currently in now, we are business partners, and that's one relationship. You know, a lot of things that come out of my chest is aren't the most loving and cuddly, and you know, I expect certain things as well as she expects from me. And then hopefully we can forget some of that shit and then move into the family room and be husband and wife. You know, it's
Right.
like a light switch all under the same roof, which is challenging.
It's not an easy transition. It's hard to, you know, we're very good on ground rules and, you know, playing the game the right way and, you know, our blocking time and we do it all. You know, we get into the other room and we're just, you know, I'm making dinner, whatever it may be. And, you know, suddenly he's asking me questions. I'm asking him questions. And I'm like, no, it can't be. I don't know what to say, Mark, but I can't be. It can't be. It's
Yeah.
like sucking up my whole being.
Well, if you think
So,
about it, you don't have a commute.
no,
No commute.
not at all.
Not to chill out, cool down, transition, hang the problems up outside, and come in.
I'll go to the bank. I'll do anything. You know what I mean? I'm like, just I'll
Funny,
do it.
funny.
No,
Wendy just left to run errands. I don't know.
it's so hard to do that. You know, I mean, I love this man. We've been married for 37 years, together for 43, and I love everything about him. But it's difficult to work side by side with someone
Mm,
you really love, and you think, can you swear on this?
absolutely.
He's a dick. You know what I mean? Just like, my God. You know, I'm like, Marky, you could never get someone to work for you, honey.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, you need to be kind to the staff.
It's sometimes, you know, it's just that, like I try to tell Wendy on the long trip we just took, you just need to be able to understand me better.
Well, careful.
How'd that go
She's-
over?
She goes, you know, sometimes you can be difficult. I said, I fully understand this. Well, the fact that you can talk about it is great, but was there a time when you were like, and I think I may have even been present for this, like when you realized, like, if we don't fix this, there's going to be a bigger cost to this than just the business, and none
Yeah,
of us wanted
yeah.
that.
It got nasty. It got, I mean, and it gets to that point, and
Mm,
I think everything comes down to communication, which is something that we've learned through coaching, believe it or not, which is really sad.
well,
I mean, it's wonderful that we learned it, don't get me wrong, but, you know, how much easier would the past 37 years have been, you know? But it does come down to, I come out with things that aren't nice, as does, as he does, and we know we don't mean them, but at the moment, man,
yeah.
I am like, I am going on the patio and I am getting some air because
Mm, yeah.
it becomes all encumbersome. You're just like, I'm going to break. And we almost went to that point where we were, we had to do a lot of talking and a lot of soul searching and why we're doing this. And, I must have quit like 100 times. I'm like, you know, hey, and I can't quit. This is our livelihood, and he couldn't do it without me. I couldn't do it without him. So here we are.
Yeah. Was there a hard truth? Like, I know, Mark, you probably, certainly for you, I know this because we talk a lot about a lot of things, and some days we're we come right at you, Michelle and I, and there's some days on our coaching calls when I would say, Michelle, I'm kind of with Mark on this one, but were there for each of you, was there a hard truth that you had to accept about yourself individually in order to grow together in the marriage and also in the business?
When I have a lot of, again, I can be demanding. I need stuff done. I've been doing this myself for 33 years. And then all of a sudden bringing on somebody that is equal, in my eyes, equal ownership. So it's like all of a sudden, no, I've always done it this way. I've always done it this way. And, son of a bitch, she's got some better ideas,
Imagine that.
And I've come to a realization that when I have something on my chest, I need to say it. I all of a sudden turn very quiet because I've got this little theater in my head.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm about to hit her with this. She's probably going to say that. Okay, Mark, you're probably a real dick and you probably shouldn't say that. So it's just, learn to play this scenario out before you open this.
Yeah, I've learned that with Wendy too, where, I'm up on the disc scale, and if you guys listening, D is dominant, I is influential, S is steady and sentimental, and C is close there. C is like compliant, the rule follower. So I'm a D or ID, and Wendy's SC, so it fits together like this. But what I had to understand is that I can't just talk to her like she's also ID, right? Because feelings going to get hurt in a heartbeat. And I'll look over and realize that, I didn't need to say that way. So it causes me to say, all right, I need to express this. How can I bring it down a notch? I'm not talking to all my fellow hardcore D entrepreneur guys that I could say something pretty cutting to, and they'd be like, oh yeah, yeah, right. So, was there there must have been some uncomfortable conversations that hopefully was a turning point for you guys. It seems like you're in a better place now, regardless of whether the business is making billions or zero. The relationship is the most important thing.
That's all, we've said, and I have said this to our girls multiple times. In the end, this is all you have. So you foster this, you make sure that this tree is going to keep growing, because that is it in the end. And I know when we go to bed at night, it's us, and this is it. You know what I mean? He's my guy and I'm his girl, and that's it. You know what I mean? But I mean, yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I'm not going to tell you it's not hard. There's some days I'm like, but my grandson was here this morning and I was wiping chocolate boogers off his face, and I loved every moment of it. I was like,
perfect.
I mean, that just like, it fills my whole soul. He's, so, and he let me. I don't want to say he let me. That's not it. He was in here. My daughter was in here. She was working. He was working. And I was like, I'll have the baby.
Yeah.
Hard
to do that in the 5th floor of an office building.
Could never do it.
Got to get your PTO time, right?
Right. And to be able to say, you know what, we have 2 days we're working next week because it was Thanksgiving. Let's screw and get out of here and get on vacation. You know what I mean? Like, be us, and no phones, no nothing, no, let me just write this contract, nothing. And we need that. We know we both need that, so.
Yeah. Oh, it's cool. Like, you got, none of us are 25 anymore. And I know for me, like, the definition of success has kind of changed over the years. Like, knowing what you know now, and, where the business is at, where your relationship is at. I mean, what does success look like for each one of you guys now? Not just in revenue, but in life too.
Right.
I think to get out of this rat race the way we came in on it, as lovers and friends, arm in arm, hand in hand. We fell in love for a reason, and now life gets busy. You have kids, you have a business, and then hopefully when we jump out of this, we're taking more trips and we're back being lovers. Not that we're not lovers now, but that'll be our focus.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, no one would argue that if you take the business stuff out, life's probably a lot more fun, right? I mean, that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, we enjoy a lot of stupid things. I mean, and I call them stupid, but I think to myself, we're having an awful lot of fun, and nobody would ever believe this. We're just doing dumb shit, like we
Right.
dance in the pool. You know what I mean? Like
Having fun.
just like dumb.
Yeah.
But the two of
I
us,
thought that was our secret.
the two of us, we're in a better spot now because we're seeing things pick up. We're seeing that, putting both feet on the ground and looking at everything saying, okay, this is the big picture. How can we change it?
Mm.
And making sure that we've got people dialed in. And, we hired a new guy, and thank you, Jesus. He seems really good. Thank you, God, right? Oh, my God. He hasn't quit yet. I mean, not like our other guy,
It's been a whole 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's like 2 weeks in. He's like, so I'm giving you my 2 weeks notice. I'm like, well, that was fast. But
No, the one that's on now.
Oh no, the one that's on now is like
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Man, through some. It's good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear because you've been through
Stability
it.
is beautiful.
Yeah, you didn't give up.
Well, we have to have a couple of. I mean, in order to make it work, make all the cogs do the right thing, we have to have 2 people in the field, and and organizing it. And Mark taking a different step. He is more of project manager now because he has to be, and that is it. And he knows where he has to be. And sometimes when he's like, I think I don't, I'm like, you need to be there.
Got to be there.
Get your coat on. You got to go.
Yeah, if you're having that feeling, yeah, you got to go.
You got to go. You got to make the call, do the things. You got to do all the hard crap, and you need to step in. Don't rely on other people because we've been there, done that.
And it is more work because I come back and there is still the stuff that was on my desk left to do.
Nobody doing
That's awesome, and she can do what she can do, but there's certain things that I just need to follow up on. And I find great success working Saturday, 3/4 of a day, and actually last Sunday I probably put in 6 or 8 hours last Sunday.
Morning, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It sucked because
the
that's our
world.
time.
Yeah.
But I know it's going to get me through it,
It's not all the time.
No.
Right.
It's not all the time. So you know what? For now, it's
Yeah,
Well-
and it's a good feeling like in your own business, you can move the needle by doing that. I'm going to put a little more time in. In a corporate environment or a W-2 job, you're like, oh, Monday through Friday, and I get the weekend, but I don't know when I'm going to move up or what I'm going to move the needle.
It could be a fire. You're like, bye-bye. It's full. And I don't care because I'm ching, gotta go.
That time clock. Yeah, there's something to be said for that too. So it's and I've done it both ways, and it's I don't know. I could talk for an hour about that. Let me ask you. I know you've talked to other couples that have been in business and all that. Like if somebody was watching this and they're a couple that are working together, and maybe they're overwhelmed with feeling stuck, what would you tell them to stop doing immediately?
Don't do it alone. We were lucky to find some awesome coaching opportunities right back in the day with Tom Reba and the contractor fight.
Yeah.
And then,
Same.
following your footsteps and signing up with Summit for, quite a long time. And then with Steve. So, I mean, I look at myself, I've got 3 huge influences that have really taught me a lot of good about business, and son of a bitch, they taught me how to communicate to your wife, and we get on quite often than not. We'll get on a Zoom call with other couples. It happens probably once a month, that we'll just set up a Zoom, someone's struggling or something, and we'll throw it all out on the table. So don't do it alone.
There's a lot of, and I always go back to communication. One thing that I found that really helped me because, number one, I'm a woman and I internalize everything. And no matter what you said, I saw it like this, you know what I mean? And he'll say to me, he's like, what did you hear? Or I'll say, do you want to know how I took that? You know what I mean? And I'm like, do you know what you just said? And sometimes we have to like stop and rerun and be like, okay, let's kiss and make up. That is not what we meant. It just happened. It just got spat out, But it's work. You both have to be in it to win it. And if he's out, I gotta pick up for him. If I'm out, he's gotta pick up for me.
And that's a math equation. I've always said too. Marriage, businessship is each one of you've got to give 100% towards the other one. If I show up only given 80, she's jumping right in, giving 120. It needs to equal
Yeah.
200% at the end of the day.
Well, Michelle, I'll say this to you. We guys are a pretty simple being, okay? And I know this to be true because Wendy was driving yesterday, I was driving back from Knoxville all the way in one day. I was just kind of peering out the window and I saw this tree limb laying on a barbed wire fence. And I got thinking about, I wonder how often they have to clean those up and, what happens with that. And it causes offense. Wendy's like, what are you thinking about? And I'm like, well, I kind of saw that tree limb laying on. She
She's
thought
like,
it
oh
was
no,
going to
I
be
thought
some
you
big
were
reflective thing that I was just lost in thought. And I was just really wondering whether that tree limb was heavy enough to break that barbed wire. And if
the cows are going to get out, and how can I help? And
yeah, right,
honey,
yeah,
we got 5 minutes. I just want to pull this limb off.
yeah,
It's fun to be in a car alone. It's fun when it's just us, literally just
yeah,
us, and there's no other people or
yeah.
anything, and we can just be quiet
Hmm.
and be really good.
Be chill. Yeah, we're in that spot too, where we kind of really enjoying the peace at times and not needing to go here and there and run this and run that. We're still working on world domination. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
but there's times when it's just nice to be. So
Yes. Agreed.
a couple of things as we wrap up here. I like to ask people, and you guys have probably heard me ask you this before. You've read my book, and I always like to ask people, like your edge is how you show up when the shit hits the fan, so to speak, or what you bring to the table that others don't, and how you show up differently. What do you guys feel like your edge is?
I think I'm a very positive person. I can make a car crash come out. What did we learn? Why did that person get his head amputated? Well, I can make anything positive. And I think that goes a long way. Because sometimes it drives certain people crazy.
Oh my God.
You know?
And I am so not. So we are just like a nice comedic event sometimes,
Yeah.
he'll be like, look at that. I'm like, my God, so
Mark, shut up.
So what is your edge?
my edge, I think I can step up to the plate when needed.
Hmm.
I've been stepping up more so lately, and
Yeah.
things he's wanted me to do that I don't want to do, but I'm doing them. And it makes life easier, and knowing what I can do and things I can answer and makes me sit up a little bit straighter.
Good.
I feel I'm more
Yep.
confident than I ever was, I think.
Love it.
I can walk into a room, literally 500 people, walk into that room and own it. So that to me is
Yeah, that's cool. Last question, and I don't prep you for this one. What do you want people to know as we wrap up? What do you want people to know? The floor is yours. What do you want people to know?
I will go right back to the thing, don't do it alone. I did it alone for so many years.
Mm.
I don't care if it's a free coaching group, a paid coaching group. Bounce around to a handful until you find the one that hits you. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not always on Bob Turner's Lives every morning, but when I do, I sit a little taller. I'm
There
a
you
little
go.
clearer in the head,
We have a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some comic relief, but there's also some gold in there, so it's
Yeah.
it's a good balance.
Good mix. Yeah.
And
for
that's
sure.
free shit, guys. That's free shit. Just
Free
tune
shit.
in, I mean,
Share it. Share Bob's shit. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there that you can take advantage of before you have to open your
and then
wallet.
you weed your way out and you say, you know what? I'm investing in this guy. I'm investing in this group.
Yeah.
And it will pay dividends.
it's,
Yeah.
I think it's nice to know that there are I'm a very private person, and I don't let anybody really into my circle, or as Lisa says, my hula hoop. My hula hoop is really small, and it took me a lot to be able to share with others. Thought that there are other people everywhere that are having the same exact issues as we are. We'd sit there in a Zoom and go, like, oh my
I thought
God.
we were special.
I thought it was just us that, the shit was hitting the fan. So that to me was that was really super helpful, like super helpful.
And it turns out to be a community. And all of a sudden, it turns out to be your people.
Yeah.
We have less friends now.
Here.
Same.
From growing up as a kid, I have less quantity of friends and a higher quality of friends. So,
Right.
yeah. So find
Yeah.
your community.
Yeah, you
Find
gotta
your
find
tribe.
your Indians. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, guys, I appreciate you. Clients, friends, family. I love you. Appreciate you
But
coming on. I appreciate all the support you've given me in my journey into coaching and leading and all that. And
and your
humbled
beautiful
that
wife
I've been able to. What's that?
and your beautiful wife.
That's right. Yeah. She just went on
Right.
some errands. I don't know.
I know. Never to return.
Don't get them together. They are not good together.
With wine. Don't
Straight
They'll
trouble.
with wine.
Straight trouble. So, yeah, guys. Well, thank you. I appreciate you being a guest on the Summit podcast. I'll get this out probably in the next several days. Hopefully you can share it out. And I like to just have a fun conversation with people that are doing good things and people that have been impactful to me and part of my growth and my journey, and just kind of share it out and lift everybody up together. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
Glad to help.
All right. All right.
Thank
Take care, guys. This
Thank
has
you.
been an episode of the Summit Podcast. Guys, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts. It's on YouTube. It's just about everywhere. Spotify now. So we're working on world domination and being a big deal over here. So, all right. Take care, guys. Love y'all. We're out. Bye.